So my name is Mark Brinton. I'm an assistant professor at Elizabethtown College in Pennsylvania, and I attended the ICE workshop in Boston in 2023. It was a really interesting workshop with great facilitators that introduced me to the entrepreneurial mindset and how I could include that into my coursework. So we noticed that in our capstone sequence, our students were not responding to our feedback in the way that we hoped. To address these concerns, we implemented a mastery-based structure and included a 4-point rubric that was simplified, but focused on creating value. The mastery-based structure also allowed the students to resubmit their work. This structure allowed students to receive feedback earlier in the process and receive more frequent feedback, which enabled them to then create more value for the stakeholders in their project. It encouraged students to persist, to learn from their mistakes, try again, and ultimately succeed. We also had these teams of engineers create a low-fidelity prototype that they presented at the college-wide scholarship day, and this allowed them to get feedback from other faculty and students on campus, as well as community members that were visiting the event. So the simplified rubric, as I said, was focused on helping students think about how they can create value for their stakeholders. The mastery-based structure provided a way for students to be resilient when critical feedback was given, and then to persist through the iterative process of receiving feedback, learning from those mistakes, trying again, and improving their work. We found that students readily took advantage of the opportunity to resubmit their work. They were very excited to improve their work, and some of the students said things like, "Being able to resubmit helped me identify the flaws in our team's work and improve," or "You get to make it the best it can be." We found that the 4-point rubric really challenged our students to embrace ambiguity. Traditionally, students are given a list of things they should do to get an A in a class. But in a project-based class like this, where students have unique projects, not only is it impossible for the faculty to detail exactly how they could create value for their stakeholders, we wanted the students to have that ambiguity, to wrestle with that and think about how they could create that unique value. So this fellowship was benefited greatly by collaborating with some of my colleagues, particularly Dr. Shannon Clancy and Dr. Kurt DeGood, who really helped to frame these rubrics and to deepen their impact, but also to take what we did in the capstone sequence and amplify that across our whole curriculum. And so from the first year through the senior year, in all the project classes that our students engage with, they were using these rubrics and this mastery-based format to help them identify value and persist and learn from failure. Because of these changes, over 200 students have been encouraged to think about how they can create value in their project courses, as well as to persist through the process of receiving feedback, learning, trying again, and improving their work. As we collected data over the past year, I've also involved some mindset mentors from our peer mentoring program in the data collection and analysis. And so these 3 students have also been able to dive deeper into the habits of the entrepreneurial mindset and how they might be manifest in project-based courses. And finally, this work has also reached the entire Keen network through the creation and publishing of a Keen card on Engineering Unleashed, as well as being included as part of the Learning from Failure workshop as an example of how to do mastery-based learning in project-based courses. As part of the fellowship, I've really enjoyed the mentoring and the training that I've received. It's deepened my understanding of the entrepreneurial mindset, but also challenged me to think bigger and think about how I can have an impact in my institution as well as across the network. In summary, this fellowship has created a shift in our project-based courses, aligning our curriculum, faculty, and students around persistence, learning from failure, and creating unique value in student work.